everyone. Happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend, just one day to go. But what an incredible weekend has been so far for Harry. Absolutely killing it in New York. And he just looks good and happy and content and confident. My last podcast, I was literally just coming on air as Harry was finishing off his speech, so I didn't get to watch it live. But I did eventually watch the replay, and just so many things stood out for me from this speech that he gave about social media and dangers of social media and what we can do to protect children. And one of the I'll get into the points that he made that I actually liked the most, that actually highlighted. But it was a brilliant speech all around, the whole setup and the way Harry spoke. And the reaction from the people in the crowd, also standing ovation, and also the live stream. I think it got well over 10,000 watchers at the height of the stream. So just a brilliant week for Harry so far. And just to see him so confident, Right, let's see who's here. Hey, Connie. Hey, Carol. Hey, Dana. Hey, Sonia. Hey, Brenda, Patricia. Hi, Karen M. Thank you to the Mod Squad as always. Right, let's get into. Actually, yeah. Do you know what? Let's actually just start with this. Let's start with Harry. I felt the use of the lost children on the phone screens in the background. That is such a powerful image. Like, this is going to be a good contender for one of the top 10 photos of the year, because this is a topic that I think has been really hot on many people's minds. Anybody with a young child or a teen, and even for grown-ups, actually, the whole topic of social media, misinformation, and how that relates to mental health is something that is important for everyone. It is completely, this isn't a left or right issue. This is a human issue. And it's just a shame that we moved so quickly forward with this technology and the way that it connects us without putting in any seatbelts. I think either Harry or Meghan made a similar statement about this, that we recognize that you can't ride in the car without a seatbelt because you have a higher chance of getting injured, but we haven't put the right seatbelts in for social media. And I think that's what this speech really honed in on. And there was this part of the speech that actually really touched me the most, when Harry said, these children and thousands more meant the world to their families. The beautiful faces you see before you, their smiles, their dreams, all lost, all too soon, all because of social media. It's why we launched the Parents Network, a global community that provides crucial support to parents whose children have suffered from the harms of social media. And it's because of them that we, the Archewell Foundation, are committed to this issue. Oh, hang on a sec, folks. Is my sound a bit funny? Hang on a sec. Let me know if I sound better now. Sorry if I've been a bit crispy. Does that sound better, folks? Because I don't think my mic was picking up the sound very well there. Okay, Donna, you said it's fine. All right. I'll continue then. So, very well delivered speech from Harry. And I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's about 11 minutes. I think it's actually worth you going and watching it yourselves. I think the Concordia Instagram or Twitter put it in full. So just search Harry Concordia speech, or on YouTube as well, or Clinton Initiative. You should be able to find it. And yes, he did indeed get a standing ovation. And some more behind the scenes pictures. He was FaceTiming with the kids and Meghan before he went up on stage. And I think, it's just those small little moments that really helps to humanize Harry, because he is Prince Harry, but he's also just a person and a dad. And I think given what the media has thrown at him and Meghan over the last 6 years, I still think there is some work to be done on humanizing them and just making people see that the stuff that the tabloids say is more than just lies. It's literally part of a wider propaganda campaign. And moments like this, I feel slowly help chip away at that. And his small pictures, oh, I love this one with like the blurred background. Also there's this one. So that's with the Queen of Lesotho, the First Lady of Botswana, and the First Lady of Finland. So this was another meeting they had. Also, once again, if you want more detailed pictures, more HD pictures, and just more general info about each of these speeches, everything gets uploaded onto Archewell. But the meat of this podcast today that I really want to get into is this article from US Weekly. So some time back, I didn't actually really look too much into this when this first happened. But there was an article in the Hollywood Reporter titled "Why Hollywood Keeps Quitting on Harry and Meghan." At this point, sorry folks, at this point, if you are one of these fools who is still believing these headlines, that's really just on you. Because over and over again, we've seen evidence that this is absolutely just not true. So if you're a fool and you're still believing this nonsense, that's on you. It's also highly disappointing to see an article like this tabloid style article, in a publication like the Hollywood Reporter that likes to pride itself as being a more classier publication. But this, and even the picture that they used, I haven't got it up on the screen. It's the US Weekly cover I've got on the screen. But even the picture that they used in the Hollywood Reporter article, it's just so juvenile. Harry and Meghan looking like they're begging. Meghan looking overexpressive. And for a publication like the Hollywood Reporter, this type of thing is meant to be beneath them. But this is a massive article that they've run about Harry and Meghan. Also, I just don't think it's a good idea for the Hollywood Reporter to be running articles like this. Harry and Meghan are, at this point, very connected. They clearly have a good network. And if you're a Hollywood star, how do you now look at a publication like the Hollywood Reporter? Meghan was in Hollywood for what, over 6 or 7 years before she came into the royal fold. You've never found anyone that said anything negative about her. So why is the Hollywood Reporter out here lying like a tabloid? I think that this is actually going to come back to bite the Hollywood Reporter in the back, because this is based entirely on lies. I'm not even going to read it because I just don't see the point. But I am going to read the clapback that Meghan's staff have done in US Weekly. And it's about time we start seeing things like this. I know that for Meghan and Harry, sometimes the message that they've given out is hit the block button, don't pay attention to the haters, just hit ignore. Sometimes you just can't do that. And you also have the right to defend yourself, or who feels they want to defend you. I don't think we have to be silent all of the time. So that Hollywood Reporter article claimed that Meghan was Duchess difficult, that she was making grown men cry, blah, 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 all of the usual lies. And now her staff have clapped back and broken their silence in US Weekly. So this is what they're saying. What it's really like to work for Meghan, staffers reveal truth behind the rumors. And what I actually like, before I get into reading this, what I like about this is that names are actually given. Like there's no inside, none of that inside the sources stuff. Sources said this, that, and the third. They give their names. So, hours after the Hollywood Reporter published a piece alleging Meghan Markle's terrible behavior is the cause of a high turnover at the company she runs with her husband, Prince Harry, a current employee posted a note on Instagram passionately debunking the report. The September 12th article, which claimed that those who work for Meghan are terrified of her, included quotes from a source calling her a dictator in high heels. Right there. A source. Unnamed sources, palace sources. By the way, it's also against journalistic practices to say that a source said this or a source said that, not actually having anything to back it up. And if it's something that is said with malicious intent. The staffer said the allegations made in the article are wildly inaccurate and damaging to both the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and members of their team. Current and former staffers quickly flooded the comments with statements of support. Best bosses I ever had, one current team member wrote, while an ex-staffer added that their time with the Sussexes was truly an honour. The Duchess of Sussex has long been dogged by reports she promotes a toxic workplace environment. Back in 2021, days before the couple sat down for an in-depth CBS interview to share their story, the Times of London reported the former actress had allegedly bullied and reduced staff members at Kensington Palace to tears. Quite frankly, anybody working at Kensington Palace needs to be reduced to tears. And apparently it's not that difficult because some people in Kensington Palace apparently cry over bridesmaid dresses. In August, a news station claimed Meghan and Harry had lost 18 employees between their time in the UK and the US. They launched the Archewell Foundation in 2020 with the source blaming an unbearable and condensing Meghan for the churn and burn rate. When you're setting up a company, you are still laying the foundations. So a high burn rate, it just in general isn't particularly unusual when you're laying the foundations of a company, when you're trying to figure out what direction you're going to go in. So any suggestion that this is because anybody at the company is mean is ridiculous, especially when there's such a high turnover rate within the palace grounds of what is meant to be a very established organization. Several current and former staffers paint a different picture to US. Ben Browning, their former head of content, who was responsible for getting their Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix before leaving after his contract expired in early 2023, says his experience at the in general was positive and supportive, adding with and the US witness. Ashley had global press secretary to the Duke and Duchess and the head of communications for Archewell says her bosses couldn't have been more supportive when she had to take some extended time off for serious surgery. I'm going to find them, but this reminds me of those articles that I saw of Kate Middleton's mum docking people's pay for... Oh, somebody saying there's something wrong with sound? Can y'all hear me now? Is the sound okay now? I can't see anything on my end telling me that there's something wrong with the sound. Okay, you're saying I'm clear now. Sorry about that. I was saying that This reminds me of the time when there were the articles. Um, okay, give me a sec, folks. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. I'm back. I'm back. Um, yeah, there were articles about Karen Middleton docking people's pay for having a visit to the dentist or something like that. So clearly, that's not what's going on here at Archewell. And I feel like they're trying to paint a picture. They do this a lot. They deflect. They're trying to paint a picture of this being a horrible workplace when we know where the horrible workplace is now. And it's not with Archewell. Okay, so let me continue. So when I told them, I was met with the kind of concern and care a parent would express if they had their own child. I was asked what I needed and if they could help, and told to take as much time as I needed. Hanson says Harry and Meghan sent flowers and care packages, but most profoundly to me, Meghan would personally reach out to my husband daily to make sure that we were both okay and had support, she adds. It means so much to him and even more to me. You don't realize how much that kind of kindness and thought means until you need it. Exactly. You know? And mind you, Meghan and Harry are running a business. They're not running a daycare. Obviously, they're kind and compassionate people, but if all they were was professional and neutral, I wouldn't be mad at that. And it's just this double standard that they have to be held to such a higher standard than anybody working in the royal household. And we know what it's like to work in the royal household, what that environment is like. So normal hiccups. There's little doubt the company, which employs a small team of roughly 16 full-time employees and is comprised of the Archewell Foundation and a production side and communications, has had some growing pains. Archewell is not unlike a startup. It's relatively young, says Hanson, adding, two things can be equally true. You can be a great leader and still have a high turnover. No boss or company is immune to that. Exactly. That exactly. Lightside, you said, can someone confirm if this was the September 12th Hollywood Reporter article? Yes. I didn't really pay too much attention to it at the time, but somehow it grew legs to the point where Harry and Meghan's staff now feel like they have to come out and say something about it now. Adds a current employee who asked to remain anonymous. People leave at any company. They get new opportunities, change their careers, or feel their role isn't the right fit. They also sometimes get let go. Those decisions are part of doing business. Hanson maintains Meghan and Harry have no hard feelings towards anyone who's left. They want people to grow and to have opportunity, whether it's within or outside of the company. The current anonymous staffer says colleagues have been dumbfounded by claims, adding, it's clear where this type of commentary is coming from. Isn't it just? It's likely made up from someone who was disgruntled. Browning tells us the narrative is simply a predictable attempt at creating intrigue through sowing false conflict. I also just think it's the UK tabloids being egged on, probably by the palace, making up nonsense. The office culture is positive. This is the first company I've worked where I liked every person, says the source. Harry and Meghan picked the best of the best from every field and watered the seeds for them to flourish. We have an enormous microscope on us, but good things are happening. Staffers outside of the production team, which has an office in Hollywood, work remotely most of the time, including Harry and Meghan, who share an office at their Montecito home. Occasionally, staffers will gather at the couple's mansion or meet at Soho Works. Wow, so they actually have the staffers at the mansion. Oh yeah, that's what they had, the Christmas party at the mansion, didn't they? The teams find ways to work together in shared spaces, says a former staffer, adding that everybody's welcome to request in-person meetings with Harry and Meghan whenever or wherever. While the Sussexes get dressed up for formal events, they sometimes show up at virtual meetings in baseball hats and t-shirts. During weekly Zoom calls, Harry will chat casually with staffers. He's fun. He definitely takes the work seriously, but when a meeting starts, the first 5 or 10 minutes, all are pleasantries like "How was your weekend?" or "How's the construction going at the house?" The ex-employee says. Um, as a group, they go to happy hours and have holiday parties. We're planning a karaoke night, adds the current staffer, because we have two people getting married on the team. So the article goes on to say, sweet gestures. Hang on a sec, folks, 1 minute. Okay, so other acts of kindness from the Duke and Duchess. When I adopted my dog, the next day I had a luxury brand leash and new collar on my doorstep, says the former staffer, who adds that parents are to be given brand new gifts and top-notch secondhand stuff from the couple themselves, like unused car seats and baby items they no longer need. During the Colombia trip, the Duke and Duchess text a team leader to take everyone out for drinks. They want to take care of us. And this is how you inspire loyalty in your team. Just making people feel like you care. You really don't have to do a lot. Work is where we spend the majority of our day, of our lives. So just be nice and foster an environment where everybody else knows that they have to be nice. That's how you foster a good company culture. You don't hire the Simon Cases and the Jason Knopfs in the world. Okay. Next thing. I love that the staff came out and did this. Meghan will do things like you mentioned on the call, your skin is bothering you. I put together a kit for you. And during team visit to the couple's Montecito home, no one departs empty-handed. Whenever staff go to their house, they leave with a basket of fresh flowers, fresh fruit, fresh eggs, the staffer says. Can we bring back these old school manners, please? Bring back people giving others fresh fruit and eggs when they leave your house. Those have got to be from Archie's Chicken Inn, right? Meghan's known for giving credit where it's due. If you're in a meeting and a great idea is referenced, she makes sure to give props to the person who generated the idea. Says the former employee. After a big trip, every employee gets a personal email thanking them for their contribution in making it a success. This is how also you inspire good leadership and management. I've worked in several companies in my lifetime, and I can say single-handedly, one of the places in which companies fail is terrible managers. And the culture of a terrible manager comes from a terrible boss. So when you inspire people, when you lead like this, you inspire the people below you to follow. Right. Lightside said that she wanted to come up. I've put a link in the chat, but that is for Lightside only, please. The former employee says Meghan is the first person to wish staff a happy birthday. Is compassionate and understanding when it comes to illnesses or family commitments. As for the rumors of Meghan's penchant for tantrums, the current staffer says they have never heard her yell, explaining that the Duchess gives clear direction and is solution orientated. And those reports of firing off demanding emails at 5 a.m. Meghan's official email signature reads, "My working day may not be your working day. Please do not feel obligated to reply to this email outside of normal working hours." I mean, she really couldn't be more polite. And this is what annoys me about the double standards to which women, more so Black women, are held to. You always have to add a sense of softness to everything that you say. And I personally don't think it's necessary because I don't think anybody else is held to that standard. It also goes on to say that loyal staffers take their outside criticism to heart, saying, "We're here for a reason." Lightside, for some reason, it's saying that your device is not connected. So maybe try going out and then coming back in again. They say, "If you come for our bosses, you're coming for us. This isn't a criminal organization. We're trying to do good." A second former staffer recalls asking for a break during a low point in their lives and says Harry and Meghan were happy to give them time off. No questions asked. I needed to be totally off the grid. They couldn't have been more supportive and even paid me during my leave. it's so in their nature to lean in and support and take into consideration that there is a human behind this job. Indeed. Um, so it goes on to say, former COO turned lifelong friend. Part of the profound injustice of having to speak publicly on this in light of these endless and damaging narratives is that so much of the kindness, mentorship, and support that Harry and Meghan share with others happens quietly behind closed doors, says Mandana Dayani, who served as the president of Archewell for 18 months in 2021 and 2022. I'll never forget sitting on the floor in their kitchen while Meghan was feeding Princess Lily and cold calling a dozen senators. Their reactions were unbelievable to ask them to advocate for paid leave. Diane and Meghan traveled to Uvalde, Texas, after the tragic 2020 school shooting. For hours, Meghan sat in a room with grieving families, going one by one to each person, hugging them and crying with them. She recalls to US, noting that Meghan has since kept in touch with the families affected by the tragedy. While working with the Sussexes, she grew close to them personally. Some of my favorite memories were during our weekly meetings in their Montecito home, where Meghan served as the most incredible lunches, snacks, and her latest beautiful concoction. They all remain close. These are kind, decent, caring people who I am very proud to call my friends. And that's the end of that. So, from the horses' mouths themselves, not from, my palace sources and all this nonsense. It's also interesting that these attacks kind of amped up at the same time when uh, first of all, Harry and Meghan have gone on this amazing tour to Colombia. Harry's having his own golden moment over in New York, and then also you've also had all these articles at the same time that Harry should go back to the UK. Right, Lightside, I'm gonna let you have your 2 cents. I'm gonna stop talking.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Anne. Hopefully you can
Good
hear me.
morning. Yes, can.
First of all, congratulations on the book. As you know, I'm patiently waiting for that hardcover to hit the press, so I can order one. But I
Thank you
know,
so much.
yeah, um, I know a lot of us can't get wait to get our hands on that too. But boy, let me tell you something. My heart rate is up. I woke up not too long ago, I had a late flight and I'm exhausted, but I was trying to like work. And when I was listening to you and I'm hearing this and I'm like, wait, is this like old stuff? Like, what is this bullying claim and why does it sound so familiar? Well, wasn't it back in 2018 when the palace it stated that they had this big news that they wanted to release and it was supposed to be on bullying allegations um, for Meghan, and the
Yes.
information was never put out in the public for who said what. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but everything that's been happening, um, and God, my head is spinning. I apologize. The attacks have been repeatedly towards Meghan, right?
Mhm.
Harry is the one going over there, going into court cases, holding their feet to the fire. Meghan has been completely quiet. She's not stepped foot in the UK as far as we know too
Mhm.
often for too long. She has not made a comment, has not made any statements directly calling anyone out, has been doing her own thing, like nothing controversial at all. And every single time you have a publication that is put out, her name and face is front and center,
Yeah.
right? Her name and face front and center on an article for some negative association for something that someone apparently claimed that she did. And it's always a source. Every single time, sources say a source close to X, Y, and Z, a source this and that. We don't care about sources. As you said earlier, for journalistic integrity, we need facts. We're not going to be
Yeah.
basing, especially in today's day and time when misinformation and disinformation is so rampant and we're so tired of it and we're having such difficulty discerning what information is true or not. We are not going to accept sources say X, Y, and Z. I am popping off
Yeah.
because unacceptable. These are high stakes, high valued individuals that are doing big work internationally, right? Using their own power, making connections, good relationships. You don't see people in Hollywood or in politics or in the government or people who are working food kitchens or people who are doing all sorts of other good things internationally associating themselves with Harry and Meghan because they're just regular old Joes. They're just there for a photo op, right? They're connecting with them because they're actually doing work. And in many instances, we in the public don't hear about this stuff until well after stuff has been done. So we don't want to hear any nonsense about sources say X, Y, and Z because those sources, as we all know, go back to Prince William and the palace. Everybody knows that. There's not one person sitting in this audience listening right now that thinks that this is not coming back from the palace because guess what?
Mhm.
They're on a sinking ship in the middle of the Atlantic, probably sitting in the Bermuda Triangle right now, right? They have nothing going for them. They have an older brother that is literally probably watching and stalking his younger brother, watching what clothes he's wearing, watching how he's wearing it, where he's buying it from, if he's growing a beard or not, and what he needs to copy from him. And they're trying so hard to mimic the success of Harry and Meghan, two individuals that literally said, "Peace out. We don't need your association with the royal family. We're going to
Yeah.
do our own thing because you guys are cutting us off and limiting us. And we're going to stand on our own." And we did not end up being broke. We're actually thriving, making connections, building establishments. And they're still sitting there trying to figure out which direction they want to go in, right?
Mhm.
Every now and then you hear food pantry, homelessness. I don't even know what else is coming out, but it all seems so like let's cast a wide net and see what sticks. Nothing is sticking because there's no work, there's not no foundation, there's no gumption there for that individual who's pushing at the forefront for these things to happen to carry it. You have to have and be someone of some substance and intelligence and be able to put the work in order to get stuff off the ground. You cannot just be a photo op. You cannot just be a face to an institution and think that that alone is going to be enough to lift you off the ground. It's
I, I,
absolutely ridiculous.
amen to all of that. And I saw Chris Ship had posted this, that Kate working from home again, according to the court circular, that she had a second meeting with officials, and that so-called meeting was to discuss the annual Christmas carol service. So she's 100% sure that she's going to be well enough at Christmas to show up for the carol service.
So it's been what, a year now since we've seen any, well, I mean, we've seen her, but whatever, that's questionable. But she pops up here and there to do whatever. I don't even look. I'm tired of hearing about them. I know we talk about them and bring them up as a comparator to, okay, you guys are talking about Harry and Meghan, but what are your people doing? But if I think really the deflection that is going on, um, the digging, the regurgitation of old stuff about is because they have nothing to go off of right now. They have nothing to anchor themselves to that's negative. As you said in a prior podcast, this woman has been in the public eye, has been on stage, and in the years that she's been out there doing whatever she's done, you've not heard one person from people who actually have known her before she touched the royals come out and say she was X, Y, and Z and was a bad person. That should tell you something, right? So this whole thing about what they're going to do and when they're going to make an appearance and stuff, to me it's crazy because what the recent reports say that the royal family is taking in what 500, is it 500 million a year or billion? I don't know, it can't
Half,
be billion.
half a billion.
Pounds. Pounds in pounds.
Yeah.
That's look. For that's a lot of money to be going towards individuals that do not work. And especially in a situation where you have people in the UK that are struggling financially, economically,
Mhm.
right? That have bigger
Mhm.
issues to worry about. So the fact that they keep on trying to shine the limelight and the spotlight on individuals and to create nonsense and state that sources are saying X, Y, and Z. We do not, if any of you haters out there, Harry and Meghan haters are listening in on this podcast right now. We want to let you know something if you haven't figured this out yet. We don't want to hear any of it. You come with names, you come with facts, or shut up because we are not buying any of it. That's where we're standing right now. And because none of it is believable. We get that you guys need to make money to feed yourselves and to get off on whatever whichever way you want to get off on, but it's not working. Okay? No one's buying it anymore. And we're tired of it. We're at the point right now where the hard hand is going to come down because it's not adding up. It really isn't. You have individuals minding their own business, doing good work, and here you are coming in talking about bullying allegations for a woman. And as you said, biracial woman, yes. Black woman, seen as a black woman. Can we just say that? Seen as a black woman, judged as a black woman
Mm-hmm.
standards. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard the criticism of strong women who happen to be women of color in certain
Yeah.
positions that literally lay the foundations for I'm a non BSer. This is my platform. This is how I want to approach things because in their heads, they can envision the success. They understand how they want their organization to move. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with being assertive. There's nothing wrong with being confident. There's nothing wrong with knowing exactly how you're moving to get to that finish line. And that is exactly what it is. Let's rebrand that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
redefine that definition of aggressiveness, of being a bully, of being whatever the heck it is that they're claiming with a negative stamp on it, as
Mm-hmm.
someone who knows who they are, someone who knows where
Yes,
they're going, and someone that wants to hold you, a person who's working under them on a higher standard so you can also improve yourself, because that's exactly what it is.
exactly. 100%, 100%. Because success breeds success, and it's just so obvious. Like I feel, and I tweeted this earlier that I feel like with the Archewell Foundation and productions and everything, we're seeing essentially what a modern royal family would look like if it was modern, if it had some humanity, if it was authentic, if it had work ethic. We're seeing that through Meghan and Harry and Archewell.
You know what, Anne? And they lost that. The royal family lost their key individuals. This, if you were to put together a puzzle, right? And to have a complete puzzle, a complete set, Harry and Meghan is that piece that you need to make it complete. They were the perfect individuals brought in to the royal family at this time. It's almost like the universe of divine intervention was saying, okay, we can foresee where this is heading moving forward. I don't think you guys are going to be able to stand alone on the fact that you're just royals to carry your family through this. So we're going to give you a gift. We're going to give you a gift in the form of two individuals that are very forward thinking, that are able to bring you guys into the next couple of generations, right? That can
Mm.
platform you. You can learn from them, accept them, and listen to them, incorporate their ideas and where they want to kind of move into your organization so you can survive. And they literally shut the metal doors on them. That's
Yeah.
exactly how I envisioned it. So as a result, they are literally drowning. They're drowning.
Yes. Indeed. Well, thank you so much for that light side. I'm going to let YM Droid speak, and feel free to continue to chime in if you want to. YM Droid, hello.
Hello, how are you both? Hope you're having a good one.
Fantastic, thank you. You too.
Alrighty.
What did you have
Yeah,
to say?
I was so happy to see the accounts from the Archewell staffers or people who would go on record, put their name to a quote, actually speak up on behalf of them, because that's the thing that's been leaking or been happening the entire time. And what made it so clear that it's still coming from the working royals, about, oh goodness, Megan is a bully because she actually expected me to do some work. It's really heartening to see it framed with real examples of, no, when, like when I was dealing with an illness, when I was dealing with something in my life where I needed the time off, like not only did they give it to me, they encouraged and they followed up and they actually cared, and expressed concern about how I was doing, which I don't think that there is anyone who could credibly even leak that they were going through something working for Will or Kate, or any of the royal family and
Yeah.
share a story of being touched because the royal reached out to them with some level of actual concern. I mean, maybe you'll get that from someone who worked for the Queen for 40 years, where, oh, she gave me an acknowledgement at tea or something along those lines, but nothing, concrete that any of the rest of them can point to. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if there are some people working at Kensington Palace who've been there for years and Will and Kate don't even know their names.
Yeah.
So
There was actually a skit about this in a cartoon where the butlers were saying, "Oh, we haven't left this room in 2 years."
yeah, so I did watch, I can't even remember the name of it, but that horrible Family Guy looking cartoon that
Yeah.
was canceled
Yeah.
after one season. So the only point that I'll give them is on how the staff where they were basically kept in a basement. No one knows who they are. They're just, tossed little little crumbs, and no one acknowledges that they have a life beyond being of service to the family. That part I thought, okay, like at least you got one thing right here. And it's just, it's nuts to constantly see them try to bring up this old canard that, like Lightside said, is largely, like is in no small part rooted in racism against Meghan. It's good to see people going on record, like, and especially people who've left, who say, no, in the US this is a normal thing. Sometimes you're at a place that you don't hate it, but you have a better opportunity somewhere else, and or it's just, not working out, and it doesn't mean that anyone's bad or wrong. It just didn't work out. We moved on, but it is not something that is about, this person in particular. And it's really good just to see that counter narrative or a factual narrative being put out there, because from all of the accounts, and I'm really disappointed that what was it, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, I can't remember which one of them picked
Hollywood
this.
Reporter.
Yeah, I can't remember which one of them picked this this BS up, but it was really disappointing because they're not a traditional Murdoch rag, and to see them piling on and essentially using the same non-reporting reporting, where I would put money on 90% of those sources being either directly from the palace or at least based in the UK, implying that they probably haven't even been to Montecito or California, or anywhere where they're working in direct connection.
So why I'm real quickly. So I had to go back and pull the article up because that's why I was asking in the comment section, because I couldn't believe it was from September 12th and it still had legs, and they're now talking about it because the new commentaries are just like within the last 24 hours or something. But to your point, when I read a piece of it, the commentary that really stuck out to me that got me real fired up is the comment that said that this information came from a very, very high source. And the only thing I can think of when they phrase it like that is someone either on William's level or someone that works directly under him that's been in the institution for a long time, right? There's no one else that comes to mind. We're not talking about the folks that work directly for Meghan or Harry, that know them, that understand their work ethic, that are in support of the things that they're doing. You're talking about people from the other side that work for the different faction that want to bring down Meghan or Harry. And that's the only thing I got from that.
No, I absolutely agree. And how sad is it that your job is largely about being petty and tearing someone down, and you don't even get to be acknowledged for the petty queen that you are? This is, I mean, normally you would at least get some platform on Instagram or TikTok or something for being petty in public that often. And because you're working for the shampoo model and her, I guess her layabout husband, you don't even get to claim that. Oh goodness, it always blows my mind that that this is, for them, this is actually a job. my theory is that Meghan came in having actually worked real jobs and just tried to bring some of that into her new role. And it shocked them so much because none of this is a real job. Like cutting ribbons, okay, I'm pretty sure you could find somebody else to cut a ribbon for you or show up at the opening of a Tesco. Sending out petty stuff to the press, okay, there's millions of people on the internet who do that on a daily basis and do it much better. And your official job, you're being asked to maybe respond to something when you start your working day, and you take that as such a slight and as such an offense that you have to go out and basically bribe and and cajole newspaper reporters into writing endless negative stories just because someone threatened you with actually maybe doing a real job. It's wild, but I don't know if it's going to be in the next few years, but I would say like at least within a decade or so. I feel like we're going to look back on this as the start of the end
Yeah.
of the monarchy, because when
Yeah.
people are still getting up at, maybe not at 5 a.m., but not too far after to start their day, to make their coffee, that has to warm them up because they've been struggling to pay for heat, to go to their jobs where they actually have to show up and do real work, and they're expected to be interacting with people and responding to emails or talking to people at 8:30 or 9 a.m. Then they look over at these people who their taxes are funding, who can't be bothered to show up more than twice a year to smile, wave, and cut a ribbon and give a nod. Then I it's just really going to go downhill from here. And I think especially with Will in charge, which he seems so eager to do and just so eager to fail and so eager to show people how inept he is. It's just this is all just going to be part of the beginning of the end, and it's all going to be self-inflicted.
Yeah, I mean
Well, go ahead, Angie.
that report. So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to say on what you said, why I enjoyed that report by Republic about the $500 million, which they're claiming is the real number. Mind you, we don't actually even know that for a fact, but that report has really grown legs. Like it was even on LBC, they were debating it. Like that number is being spread around quite heavily.
And I'm sorry, Lightside, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to make a comment in regards to I see a lot of people in the chat saying that it's William. I 100% agree with you guys. I think I saw Lottie, I saw Connie also making that comment. I do believe here's what my theory is, and I know this platform is not one that literally stems from making stuff up, and I'm not saying that I'm making stuff up, but I would say that we have been seeing William almost on the decline. When you start when your public appearance, which we've kind of observed, there's been like a downtrend with what's going on with him. Um, when you see his physical appearance, the way he's dressing and putting himself together, and is shown in the public, start to frazzle a little bit, I can only surmise that there's something deeper going on psychologically, emotionally behind the scenes that we don't see, and we are being protected from seeing, because that would completely shatter everything that the lies have pushed out to kind of preserve his image. And I'm saying that because he looks rough. What he looks like to me is someone that literally spends hours at the bar into the wee hours in the morning during the week. Not talking about on the weekends, on Fridays, Saturdays when you're out with your boys or girls or whatever. I'm talking about you drinking during the week. You're probably drinking in the morning too. That's the energy I'm getting from him. And I'm guessing that with all that's happened and the fact that nothing is really going on that side, that the beauty image, the person that they normally present to the audience, which is Kate, to kind of bring that ethereal look and to appease the royalists that want to see her. She has been out of the forefront for a minute, so you don't have that. Also, the kids we rarely see as often anymore from their side, right? So they don't really have anything going on. There's nothing going on over there. The sharks are hungry. And there's nothing to offer the sharks. They're starving. They want blood. And now he's scrambling, trying to figure out what the heck they can do to get back and trying to level Harry and Meghan. He keeps throwing daggers at his brother, right? And what do we see in the articles? We will gladly accept Harry back if Meghan would just stay where she is. Like, no Meghan, but Harry, right? They're being so bold and being clear what it is that they want, and nothing is happening. Nothing is going their way. It's not panning out. And I think really at this point, there's disparity is what we're seeing, right? Because there's only so long you can go in making stories up and regurgitating things and not seeing a fruition come from any of the lies that you're putting out before people call you on your BS. And I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about people at a higher level. And we're seeing the US market and the journalists here fire back and counter. Right. One of the things from Us Weekly, I think, before or In Touch was the divorce rumors or something with Kate and William. I don't know when I've
Yeah.
ever seen that on a front page, tabloid like esque magazine, period, no matter how crazy it is. So something's really shifted. And I think there's been a slow movement with a transition and a changing of the guards happening, where we're seeing the demarcation and the lines being drawn where the US folks here, the ones that are not influenced by Murdoch's folks or whoever, saying, nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to really post some stuff that we know is true because we lean more towards that. We're not going to buy into the tabloid stuff that UK has been pitching for years because that's what they've been surviving off of.
Well, and I think that I think that they grossly overestimate their influence beyond the UK and how much people are willing to go along with that, considering just in how they show up when they do go to different places. And I'm including the US in that. When Will showed up and expected it to be some grand hurrah and everyone to just roll out the red carpet and have a ticker tape parade for him, and no one cared. The oysters were probably like, who? When he showed up out there in his wading boots to mess with them. I mean, literally no one cared. And he just can't get over the fact that somehow people actually, even if it's just to dislike them, or to hate on them, that people care about his brother and his brother's wife. Let's be honest.
And
And
you know
that
what that is? You know what that is, YM? What is it that Harry and Meghan have that William and Kate don't have? They're the ones,
personality, charisma,
exactly.
work ethic.
They're the ones you would invite to the barbecue. Am I wrong? They're the ones you'd
Yeah.
invite to the barbecue, like real talk, because the energy with Prince Harry being from where he is, the feeling that I get for him when I see him interact with different people is like, dang, he seemed like a cool person to meet and just chat up, right?
Prince Harry had an invite to the cookout before Meghan, and Meghan just solidified it. Let's be honest. When they would go,
100%.
you know, when he showed up in the Caribbean, when he showed up in Africa, Prince Harry already had an invite to the cookout, and Will can't understand why he can't get his potato salad with raisins made by staff past the front gate. So that's always been the case, and they've always been oblivious when it comes to that. And same thing with Diana. You know, she showed up, and the reason people were excited by her and not Charles is because there's some semblance of, okay, she actually cares about what I'm going through, and she seems to want to do something to help with it. So, hey, I would definitely want to meet and I would hang out with this person, as opposed to this person who has all of the airs about them of, oh, hello, don't you know I'm very important. And I will smile and wave at you if you would like. No one cares. No one wants that. And and yet they've operated on that being enough to make up for a lack of personality. And I'll give Charles the bare minimum of credit here. At a minimum, He learned to speak Welsh when he knew he was going to become Prince of Wales. At a minimum, he has done some what we might consider actual work with the Prince's Trust, in trying to make a difference in some causes. As off kilter as the results may have been, there does seem to be some sincerity in what he did around environmental work, even if the actual result was not there. William has all of his negative charisma, all of his negative personality, and none of the work ethic that at least makes him, okay, I guess he's tolerable. It is, I mean, and I can't imagine what a job description working for Will and Kate looks like. Let's see, must be able to tolerate doing work for people who will take credit for 100% of your work and give you no acknowledgement, but all of the blame if it doesn't work out. I don't know whose idea the shampoo commercial was, or the Summer's Eve, meets, ED medication.
That could have been the idea of one of the new comms people that they brought in. He's actually someone in the UK who's known for cleaning up messes.
Whoa, hold on a second. Shampoo commercial? I must have missed something.
Oh, sorry. That's why I corrected it. I think it was a hybrid Summer's Eve and ED solution commercial where Kate was frolicking in the fields. William had shaved his struggle beard and tilted his egghead down just enough for Kate to rub on it lovingly, and pretend they were affectionate.
Is that a real commercial that's out, like, on the internet?
No, oh wait, did you not see it, Lightside?
No.
Lightside did not propaganda. See it. Yeah, no, there was a bit propaganda film when Kate announced that she was, I guess, cancer-free, but not cancer-free, and kind of out of the woods, but not out of the woods, and getting better, but still not able to actually show up to anything more than twice a year.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh,
bless their hearts. Bless their hearts.
I'm going to pause for Anne to bring it up because I know that she's got at least some skills from it.
I don't know if I've even got any. I haven't actually got any slides in the back of my deck at the moment, but you carry on talking. I'll get the video because obviously Lightside hasn't seen it.
Okay, so let me paint the picture for you, Lightside. I'm guessing this was what was on the whole content outline. Scene 1, Kate flips her long, beautiful, luscious hair that she somehow managed to hang on to through some advanced form of chemotherapy that mere mortals don't have access to. She flips her hair and stands there with the breeze blowing through it in a meadow of wheat wildflowers or something that looks pastoral and that she's likely never ever had to deal with. I bet she was trampling through some poor farmer's field and they're like, hey, you're messing up my crops. And she's just walking through with the cameras and her hair blowing and a nice little sunset in the background. Then cut to them, and by them I mean, they contractually obligated Will to interact with her, I believe, for 20 minutes. There was some awkward hand holding. There was a lot of awkward stares from Will as he tried to play the part of loving, affectionate husband. Kate leans in at an almost 180-degree angle to rest her head on his shoulder. And I mean, despite her trying to, there we go. So at the start of this,
God,
she goes in, and then the kids come in to show that there's normal human interaction. At some points, there's looks on their faces like, what are you all doing? The kids probably at some point said to them, how cringe. And they continued with it, but they're frolicking around. There's one shot of Will's head that I swear looks like something out of Area 51.
Oh my God. Yeah, the alien shot. Yeah, I saw that. I was thinking of Alien versus Predator. I mean, I apologize.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
No. That's accurate.
Sorry.
That's accurate.
So this really happened. I'm processing. I just, like, if you were to see my face right now, the shock I'm in that this actually happened, that this was not only filmed but they actually put it out. I just
I
don't.
think this is going to this is going to go along with that film that the Queen banned from ever being re-aired because it was so bad. I think that this is going to go into that archive. I'm just so happy that this is the age of the internet and that I know people have
It's never disappearing.
and it's
No.
never going to actually go away. But does this not look like talk to your doctor if you're having difficulties maintaining an
Cialis.
exactly.
Sorry.
Hey, so it's a combination, and then Kate looks like, and Summer's Eve has given me the freshest feeling of my life. As they're frolicking around, this looks like some joint Cialis Summer's Eve, kind of collab commercial.
Here's can I okay, I know we're joking about this, and look, I'm gonna be processing this through the weekend. I'm not gonna lie to you because I don't pay too much attention to these news. I completely missed this. We'll be processing. But here's where the tone deafness comes in for this whole thing. Because let's talk about people who actually have had cancer. I apologize, misinformation there. I don't know for a fact. Disclaimer from the legal department. The team here, Lightside specifically, doesn't really know for sure if Kate actually had cancer or not. So I'm just put that disclaimer out there because we don't want anyone to get sued. We don't want any videos to be taken down.
Okay. I give you a +1 and allegedly. So
Allegedly. But here's the thing though. Allegedly, right. When people, women, specifically women, go through, we've talked about this, like beating this like a dead horse. We talked about this. When you go through treatment, there may be a teeny tiny percentage of people who may not lose their hair. But normally, if you understand the science behind what it is that treatment is that they put into your body to get rid of cancer cells, it is actually poison, right?
Yeah.
It is poison to healthy cells. It is poison intentionally because not only do they have to knock out, I did some science and stuff, and I'm in the healthcare field, but not doctor. Disclaimer. But what it does, it really attacks the immune system. The white blood cells that usually are fighting against stuff like that. It has to disable it because it doesn't want it to be active. And then on top of that, it goes in and attacks the bad cells. But during that whole process, it's like I'm gonna take some of the good cells with it too. Right? So the whole thing is really hard on the body. And if anyone has gone through a stressful period in their life, just stressful, you know that sometimes what happens is your hair will break off or you lose hair. It is the same process or very similar that the body's reaction is when it goes through chemo. If not more intense, right? Because you're actually putting chemicals in the body. It is very normal and common to see hair loss, even thinning of the hair. So how on earth did this woman maintain all her hair during this whole thing? And then they had the nerve to do this Hallmark-esque commercial, right? For God knows only what STD product that they're trying to pitch out.
I mean,
right?
one of
With
the
the wind blowing.
so like that, I just want to say one of this is actually a point that a lot of people brought up, that this would have probably, maybe taken a day, maybe or two. She would have had to go in the studio to do the voiceover from different angles. They've also if you watch the full video, they're not just in the forest, they're also down at the beach. There's also shots where I think they're in the garden, and then also at Kate's family's house. There's like a small snippet where they're all playing cards, and you see the Middletons, which you don't often see. You barely ever see them, and it's just the tone deafness. If anything, let's stay on the assumption that there was seriously something wrong with her. It's just very tone deaf. This is not what a cancer sufferer looks like. This is not what the average cancer sufferer in the United Kingdom, who even just to get past the beginning of the waiting list, you're looking at like 2 months, and she's had probably the best care that the UK can offer, maybe even from overseas doctors. This is not
let me play and let me play I want to say devils, but let me play Kate's advocate here for a minute. Let's say that the allegations are correct and there was some type of unnamed cancer present and that she did undergo treatments. Whatever treatments she received were so advanced that, to your point, Lightside, unlike the ones that are commonly available to people who have to go through the NHS, or people who have to go to, you know, just whatever doctors they can afford to see and whatever treatments they can afford to undertake. Her treatment was so advanced and so cutting edge and beyond that they were able to do it in a way that she was able to preserve her hair. Not only that, she was able to come back looking very fresh-faced at Trooping, to come back looking totally refreshed at Wimbledon. And, you know, so in spite of this alleged battle, that really takes a toll. And, you know, it may seem petty to focus on the hair, but for a lot of women, especially who go through treatments, for cancer, that's one of the biggest things. I mean, like, most women are not used to seeing themselves without, they're not used to seeing themselves without hair, or it's a very big part of their identity. So to lose that, to start, you know, kind of even seeing the differences in your skin, and how it ages you and the toll it takes, and then to have this very glossy, you know, healthy looking person who looks so healthy that many people do question if she ever had cancer in the first place, come out and expect it to be some, yeah.
Yeah, I also just wanted to say that I think it would have just have been nice, even, you know, for PR purposes,
Yes.
for Kate to, you know, maybe go and talk to cancer survivors, talk more in detail about, you know, whatever it is that she's gone through. But instead they've gone with this, you know, very kind of like just a very sterilized imagery of her. I don't know if it's because the palace still operating off this very old school way of thinking where everything has to look perfect. I don't know if it's her personal pride, you know, whatever it is. It's just so removed from any like real human emotion and any kind of connection. But I wanted to just move on a little bit, and just say, or I guess ask both of you, like, where do you think Kate and William and their team, you know, following people's very upset feelings about the fact that this, you know, this announcement was very tone deaf, following the fact that everything they keep trying to throw at Harry and Meghan is just not sticking, um, where do you think they go from here? Because I don't see where it goes anywhere other than down.
I was just going to say down and to the right very quickly. It's again, I think that we are witnessing not the end, but the beginning of the end. It would take a Herculean effort on the part of those kids to undo the damage and rebuild the image that their great grandmother had and left. It of course started with Charles and Camilla, Camilla especially, but it certainly continued with Will and Kate. Just the mystique that they assumed was, I guess, like came along with the crown is just not there. And they just don't have the personality. They don't have the capability. They don't have, they're just in the wrong time. Although I seriously question if even if they were born into a different time, you know, if they would have made it. Maybe Charles would have, but Will and Kate, I don't know if you even went back to a time period when there was that just default reverence, regardless of what the monarch was actually like, if they would have made it then. And honestly, I see their kids growing up to see what Uncle Harry and Auntie Meghan have been able to do outside of that institution, and saying, yeah, we want to opt out too. They may, I'm sure that they love their parents, and I'm sure that their parents have done the best they can to be loving towards them. But I don't, like I said, I just see this as the beginning of the end. I can't see them going too much further with this fallacy that they are somehow anointed to be the I mean, like, they're failing as figureheads. That's the main thing. They do have, I'm sure, some level of power behind the scenes that is real, but their primary job is to be a figurehead, to be a commercial, really, for the UK. And they are utterly, like, just failing at it. Like you said, not one visit from them to a cancer treatment center, not one message from Kate, just specifically to others who are going through, a similar struggle, allegedly. Not 1 ounce of this experience has taught me something that helps me relate to you. And I'm going to be your voice. Now that I've been through this, I'm going to become a voice and an advocate for the things that you are going through, the things that affect us, regardless of how many palaces we own or what have you. And instead, it's just been more and more out of touch messaging that just really does not connect them to people in any meaningful way. And again, I think it's just, it's trying to get water from a stone, though. So honestly, I don't know that there's anyone that they could hire who would be able to present them as such when it's evident that they don't care. It's been evident for some time that they want the trappings of wealth, they want the title, they want the respect, but they don't want to do anything that goes along with it. I mean, if you look at medieval kings, they were out there on the horse actually swinging a sword. So at a minimum, they were at least putting in the work. These two are just, who knows what they're doing. They can't even be bothered to put in the work of opening a Tesco.
Indeed.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it really.
Sorry, do you wanna
Yeah,
follow up on that?
yeah, I'm gonna keep it real short because I do have to jump. But I am gonna say this. They haven't learned in the past. They didn't learn while they had Harry and Meghan, and they will continue not learning and continue not modifying how they move and present themselves to the public. You'll still see the same mistakes as you've seen with this atrocity of a commercial that we've always seen. Nothing is sinking in. You mentioned before that they live in a bubble, and I 100% believe that whatever information is being fed to them by whomever is going to continue feeding how they move. So no, they're not going to learn from this. And what I see is a fast, quick dive, meteor crash to Earth, complete implosion is what I'm seeing. That's it.
Indeed. All right. Well, thank you so much to the both of you. Always a great time to have other people's perspectives as well. Appreciate you both.
Thank you so much. Just before I go, just wanted to say quickly, Church Nelly, we love you, and we really we are sure that you're going through a legit struggle, and just for how often and how many squatty spaces you show up, we really appreciate you. So definitely praying for your health and your safe recovery.
100%. Thank you so much for that, YM Droid, and absolutely, Church Nelly, hoping that you recover soon. Also to Dorothy Ross. I don't know if anyone's spoken to Dorothy recently. She's also going through treatment as well, and please send your prayers to her. And it's unfortunate. None of this had to ever be like this with Harry's other other relatives. They could have made life so much easier for themselves. But unfortunately, jealousy took over, and this is the result when you don't foster a loving and caring environment around you. You lose your support system, and how much easier would it have life be for them right now if they had just supported Harry and Meghan? But God had other plans to let Harry and Meghan go free and give their goodness and kindness to people who appreciate it. And unfortunately, those people are not their family members.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can I just say one more petty thing?
I'll go. Go on.
Looking at this picture on the screen, look at Kate ready for the next stretching Olympics. Have you ever seen anyone have to lean that far in to someone's shoulder for someone who is a willing participant? Girl is
This
stretching.
literally, do you know what this actually reminds me of? When I was like 16 years old and I went on my first date and he went to put his like hand around me. We went to the cinema and like my neck was literally like craning because I did not like want to lean in at all. That's what this reminds me of.
I mean, this is a distance. This is almost Olympic level. They put that weird break dancer in there. Maybe they could do neck stretching as a category, and I'm sure she could become an Olympian. I mean, this is a distance. This is just you don't get to this normally without I don't know, like without a crane or walking distance or something. She's just tipped over so far. I don't know, maybe she's used to matching swaying tilting willy and keeping up with that, but I mean, like, that was a distance. Her neck was just woo. I don't know if that's AI, but sorry.
No, this is 100. This was 100% real, and I'm actually looking at the still shots now. I'm even surprised that some of these shots even made it into the video. But anyway, that's people who are out here with that royal struggle life. We have Harry and Meghan out here who are thriving. And what an amazing week it has been for Harry, and I can't wait. Tomorrow I'll do like a wrap up report on anything that came out today. But thanks as always, everyone, for showing up. And yeah, I guess I will. And thank you to Lightside and Why I'm Droid, and I will see you all tomorrow. Let's dance our way out. Ciao.